We are here back on the channel, Survive and Thrive, and today we're going to talk about a company that I've previously covered and I do have holdings in, and that company is MGM Hotels, ticker symbol MGM. And the reason why I want to cover this company is there have been some strategic partnerships and announcements here in the relative near term, and I think it's going to add a lot of upward catalyst to the company and investor value for the share price. So if you want to take a look at the video that I had done previously on why you want to buy into this particular company, go take a look at this suggestion link above and see what I talked about and where the price point was about 9 to 10 months ago. This Barron's article, MGM stock is a buy as a broad recovery play. Citi says price target $57. We will go in more detail at the end of this video on what the price per share is and what some of the historical values have been over time. But going into more details on this article from February 10th of last week, Citi Research has resumed its coverage of MGM Resorts and raised it to a buy following the release of a strong fourth quarter earnings results Wednesday. The company is one of the major beneficiaries from the solid recovery in Las Vegas and the rest of the US, Citi Research analyst George Choi wrote in the note. He also cited the company's leaner cost structure and its strengthening balance sheet. The stock was a little below $48 on Thursday, down more than 1% in early trading. Choi's price target is $57, some 17% above its current level. Now, the company earned an adjusted 23 cents a share in the fourth quarter, up from a loss of minus 92 cents a year earlier, as revenues climbed to about $3 billion, more than double what they were in 2021's fourth quarter. A lot of that can be attributed to what is happening currently, with the variants continuing to become less and less lethal, and more states opening up and loosening restrictions on masks and policies for what happens indoors. During the fourth quarter earnings call with analysts on Wednesday after the market closed, CEO Bill Hornbuckle said that the Omicron affected January results, especially group travel like conventions. Cancellations, while elevated, were mostly concentrated in the very short term, with limited impact beyond March, he said. So it is very refreshing to see that finally we are getting to a point where it does seem like there is going to be some of the weight lifted from what's been happening with the pandemic over the past 2+ years. And a major example of what you can see is Super Bowl 2022, how they've attracted more than 112 million viewers, and that's up from last year. It's up about 16 million. And while this doesn't top the all-time record, it does show that we are on the path to recovery. Adding a bit more to that, you can see this article from The Street. Super Bowl gives Las Vegas Strip rivals Caesars and MGM a big win. The Super Bowl marked Las Vegas's official return to normal. It was the first major event held in the city since Nevada dropped its indoor mask mandate that removed a major barrier for people wanting to visit the city. And this, like I said, is happening more and more across the country, and it does seem like we are at a place where we're going to get past this hurdle and be able to have people get back into the economy, spend more money, and it may be a catalyst, even given all of the volatility with concerns over the Russia-Ukraine challenges, potential interest rate hikes, and other fears of recession and the real estate market crash potential. So this does show a positive that could really help to boost the economy on people wanting to spend more money when they've been contained for the last few years. That led to a huge weekend for Caesars, MGM Resorts, Penn National Gaming, and other Las Vegas sportsbooks. A record 31.4 million American adults plan to bet on the latest Super Bowl, a 35% increase from 2021, according to new American Gaming Association research. It's a massive comeback after last year's pandemic-hit game, with bettors expected to wager an estimated $7.61 billion on this year's champion game, up $3.33 billion, or 78% from last year. That number was likely exceeded with the late lifting of the mask mandate and the huge pent-up demand caused by nearly 2 years of restrictions that even Las Vegas a city not known for playing by the rules could not ignore. And for any of you that watched, the game in itself did not disappoint, and while the house always wins, something happened in the latest Super Bowl that brought some extra cash into the coffers of Las Vegas's casinos. This bodes very well for the overall business plan for MGM, and this goes along the lines of their division BetMGM. And you can see in my previous coverage of this company that they were just in the fledgling stages of utilizing this service, and it was relegated to just Nevada and has now expanded very quickly. BetMGM and SportsGrid announced strategic partnership, as noted in this Yahoo Finance article. Sports betting leader teams with nation's first 24-hour sports wagering streaming network. So just hearing that they're able to not only have access to being able to bet on games and combine that content viewership and bring in additional revenue for MGM, you can see how this can be very good for the company and bring in them quite a bit of revenue moving forward. BetMGM, a leading sports betting and iGaming operator, and SportsGrid, the nation's first and only 24-hour sports wagering streaming network, announced today a strategic partnership concentrating on integrating BetMGM content across SportsGrid's original live programming. The content will be supported by television and social media advertising. SportsGrid is making big waves in the streaming world, creating a new avenue for fans to consume sports betting content, said Adam Greenblatt, BetMGM CEO. This collaboration allows us to further expand BetMGM's reach to our fans through SportsGrid's nationwide broadcast network. BetMGM's brand, odds, and promotions will be incorporated into SportsGrid's most popular shows. Additionally, SportsGrid will have access to BetMGM's trading team and brand ambassadors to create unique insider content for the network. Luis Mayoin, president and co-founder of SportsGrid, said, "We are proud to deliver real-time BetMGM data and intelligence to millions of sports fans. This relationship with a recognized leader in the industry helps us better super serve the gaming community and further cements our position as a premier sports gaming and lifestyle network." And as it's noted here, BetMGM is currently available in 21 markets and is available for download on both iOS and Android, as well as accessible via desktop at www.betmgm.com. As BetMGM continues to expand to new areas, just like I said, they initially just started with Nevada, but they're continuing to grow across the country and beyond. Responsible gaming education remains a key focus. So, like I said, some huge catalysts that are starting to come into play that will continue to boost their revenue. And I think outside of the BetMGM developments and growth in business for them, that with the reopening of Las Vegas, you're going to see a huge bump in revenue, and this should pay out very well for investors. Now, if we go back to the 5-day historical data on share price, we're down 4.43%. Currently, the share value is at $43.56. Looking at the last month, we're up 6.35%. Go back 6 months, we're up 10.22%. Within the last year, over 16%. And in 5 years, 65%. So I was fortunate enough to be able to buy in when the last Black Swan pandemic event hit, and I was in about the $10 range cost basis, and so I've made a good return, 4 to 5x. I do see that there is potential for us to get to that $57 mark, as mentioned by the earlier investor, and it could be much higher in the next 3 to 5 years. So that's why we'll continue to look for opportunities where this company dips and build my holdings for the long term. This is one of those plays that I think that a lot of people strayed away from, especially when the pandemic made such an impact to the stock market in general. But I knew that based off the amount of money that they had in their balance sheet, that they were well protected. And you can see that even as of the last few months, there was a sale of the Mirage Hotel to Hard Rock International, and that was a $1 billion deal for MGM. So that just further helps them to have cash on hand to be able to go and chase these other opportunities for business development. And I see it really paying off for them in the long run. So, like I've mentioned before, I am not a professional investor, nor am I licensed. Do your own research, learn about this company, go and read and see what others have to say. And let's get this out to the rest of the YouTube community. Hit that like button, share this video, and come join me in helping you to develop your path to financial freedom by hitting that subscribe button and turning on that bell. I'm very excited going into 2022, seeing how the restrictions being lifted will hopefully positively impact our economic status. Leave any comments below about thoughts on this company in particular or other opportunities out there that are similar, and let's continue to use this as a forum to help our fellow investors and YouTube community. Until next time, don't just survive, thrive!